In the high-stakes theater of a congressional hearing, the truth is often the first casualty. But what happens when one representative decides to bring the receipts? We are about to witness a masterclass in political counterattack, one that doesn't just challenge a narrative, but aims to expose the very foundation of an impeachment inquiry as a house of cards built on so-called alternative facts. The core question this raises is profound. In modern politics, does the person who controls the narrative control the truth, regardless of what the evidence says? Let's watch the key moments that set the stage for this confrontation.
Ms. Crockett of Texas.
Without objection, the amendment is considered as read. I reserve a point of order. Ms. Crockett is recognized for 5 minutes to explain her amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm introducing this amendment to emphasize the importance of telling the truth. Chairman Comer has given us alternative facts about the testimony of Mr. Devin Archer provided to this committee, the Democrats and Republicans, but behind closed doors. Again, it's common sense not to trust my colleagues on the other side of the aisle when it comes to stating the facts, because they are the same ones that gave us alternative facts about the election. They gave us alternative facts about January 6th, and thus far they have given us alternative facts, at least to the American people, about their motivation for this impeachment inquiry. So I do have a few receipts that I'd like to go through. On December 6, 2023, Chairman Comer tweeted out that President Biden emailed with his son's business associates. But let me be clear, when consulting the transcript, it was determined that those were alternative facts. The actual facts found in Mr. Archer's transcribed interview show that President Biden was not involved in his son's business activities, and that during his more than a decade-long business relationship with Hunter Biden, Archer never witnessed President Biden have any involvement in his son's business dealings or take any official actions to benefit Hunter Biden or his businesses. And Archer never witnessed Hunter Biden discuss the substance of his business with his father or ask his father to take any official actions. Again, in August of 2023, Chair Comer stated in an interview to Newsmax that Mr. Archer, quote, admitted that the Burisma executives were squeezing Hunter Biden to try to do everything he could to get the prosecutor Shokin fired because they were going after their corrupt energy company. And lo and behold, a few days later, Joe Biden actually did that. After consulting the transcript, yet again, it was determined another alternative fact. The actual facts are that Mr. Archer specifically spoke about Ukraine and Hunter Biden's role with Burisma, the Ukrainian energy company on whose board they both served, and repeatedly stated Hunter Biden never discussed Burisma with his father and never asked his father to take an official action to benefit him or Burisma. Mr. Archer further stated that he had no reason to believe Vice President Biden's call for Shokin's removal was driven by anything other than the U.S. government's anti-corruption policy in Ukraine. Chairman Comer again tweeted, he loves his Twitter, on December 6th that President Biden was on speakerphone with the Biden family business associates over 20 times. We consulted the transcript and it was determined again, another alternative fact. Mr. Archer's transcribed interview actually states that while Hunter Biden spoke frequently with his father, sometimes when Hunter Biden was with other people, Mr. Archer stated he never witnessed any discussion of substantive business during these calls. Again, Chair Comer's association with reality about information brought forth by witnesses he demanded come in. Well, Chair Comer, we spun it. Again, about Mr. Archer's statements when it came down to President Biden. When we consult the transcript over and over and over, it's been determined that the facts that have been laid out by the members of this committee on the Republican side have been alternative facts. When Mr. Archer was directly asked during the transcribed interview if President Biden was the brand, Mr. Archer clarified that DC was the brand and that he and Hunter Biden helped to assemble a team of attorneys, lobbyists, and public officials, public affairs professionals to handle Burisma's government relations, and President Biden was not part of the DC team. It is no wonder that Hunter Biden wanted to come before everyone in public because, Mr. Chairman, it is vital that we continually have to set the record straight and make sure that alternative facts are not what's being handed out to the American people, but instead the facts, the real facts, reality.
Well, the
I would
gentlelady
also
yield.
like to, yes.
Just for a quick question, Ms. Crockett, and I thank you for that illuminating intervention, because I'm starting to wonder if the Russian hoax should apply to the lie about Burisma, which sits at the very heart of this investigation. That's the real hoax, isn't it? In fact, Lev Parnas, who helped make it up, has been out there begging Chairman Comer and the Republicans to end this wild goose chase and to have him come testify about how they tried to concoct the lie in the first place. And yet, that's a witness that they don't want to hear from. I thank you. I yield back to you, Ms. Crockett.
They don't want to hear that. And if we care about making sure that the American people know that we have transparency and truth on this committee, then I would implore this committee to release the transcripts publicly instead of tweeting out alternative facts about what has been testified to.
Mr. Chairman.
As previously approved, each side has,
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, all right. So we love the Constitution today, and we also want to talk about foreign money coming in. Have y'all seen the report that was just produced where this chairman decided that he was going to block this committee from receiving additional information about y'all's guy, Trump, and all the money that he took? From what we did receive, we know that Trump got almost $6 million that we can account for, and we know that there's more there. From China specifically, we found almost $8 million total that he accepted from foreign governments while he was serving as the president of these United States. But we're concerned about the president's son who has not been involved in his administration. I just want to run it back, though, to the very beginning, because this is something that I just can't get over. I can't get over the gentle lady from South Carolina talking about white privilege. It was a spit in the face, at least of mine as a black woman, for you to talk about what white privilege looks like, especially from that side of the aisle. And let me quote your now ousted speaker and what he had to say about the Republican Party and y'all's lack of diversity. When you look at the Democrats, they actually look like America. When I look at my party, we look like the most restrictive country club in America. So let me tell you something. Y'all don't know what white privilege looks like, but I'm gonna show you a little bit of something. You see, you want to talk about a two-tier justice system, and this is the only time that y'all have ever referenced it, when this country has a history when it comes to black and brown folk of having two separate sets of rules. And right now what you want to do is have two separate sets of rules because Mr. Moskowitz offered y'all a fair situation. He said he would vote for Hunter to be held in contempt if y'all voted to hold all, even if you remove all of the members of Congress. There's still other people that y'all haven't decided that y'all have excuses for, but y'all don't want to hold them in contempt. But for some reason, it makes sense to hold Hunter Biden in contempt, who has tried to comply. And let me tell you why nobody wants to talk to y'all behind closed doors, because y'all lie. That's just the bottom line. You have done it thus far in this investigation. You have done it this far as it relates to this committee. In every single hearing, y'all spin, spin, spin. I don't know how y'all are still standing right now, because you should be quite dizzy from all the spinning that you're constantly doing when it comes to spinning the truth. You talk about free and fair elections, but you back a guy who we know tried to steal the election. And this isn't about what Democrats have to say. Let me remind you, for those of you that don't know how the justice system works, it's not a matter of the president went in and indicted Trump, but we are talking about grand juries. Grand juries are comprised of American citizens, and the people that have entered pleas of guilty that will be flipping on your leader in a minute, they are Republicans. I do want to point that out. And half of them were Republicans that were handpicked by Donald Trump himself. So, to be clear, whatever happens to your little leader, it's going to be because of the actions that he took. So you can talk all you want to about how January 6th was nonsense, but all of y'all were running at that time. Y'all were grabbing y'all's gas masks and y'all were running to your offices because you didn't know if they were coming to kill you. You should have cared that somebody was there to protect you, but instead you want to play games because you found out that it was your leader that decided that he wanted to propagate an insurrection on our country. So don't tell me that you care about the Constitution, because you don't.
All you care about is Trump.
The strategy on display here is a systematic dismantling of credibility. Representative Crockett isn't just debating policy. She is executing a direct, evidence-based assault on the public statements made by the committee's own chairman. Her method is simple, yet devastatingly effective. State the public accusation, and then immediately counter it with the sworn testimony from the very witness the chairman himself called. This isn't a he said, she said argument. It's a direct confrontation using the committee's own records as the weapon. Notice the recurring theme. A claim is made publicly, often on Twitter or in a media interview, but the closed-door testimony reveals a different story. For instance, the chairman claimed President Biden was directly involved in business dealings with his son's associates. Crockett counters by citing the transcript where that same witness, Devon Archer, stated he never saw the president involved in the business, take any official action to benefit it, or even discuss its substance. This is a crucial distinction. In any serious investigation, sworn testimony is the gold standard, while public commentary is often just political messaging. By repeatedly highlighting this gap, Crockett argues that the investigation is not a good faith search for truth, but a public relations campaign designed to mislead. Three major themes emerge from her presentation. First, the charge of deliberate misrepresentation. She uses the phrase alternative facts to pointedly accuse her colleagues of knowingly presenting a false narrative to the American people about the election, about the 6th of January, and now about this inquiry. Second, she highlights the theme of hypocrisy. She points out the committee's eagerness to hold Hunter Biden in contempt for defying a subpoena for a closed-door deposition, while ignoring similar defiance from their own political allies. This frames the inquiry not as a matter of principle, but of political targeting. Finally, she attacks the core premise of the investigation itself, the idea that President Biden was the brand. She again uses the transcript to show that the witness clarified DC was the brand, a much broader concept of influence peddling that did not directly implicate the president. This confrontation extends far beyond the walls of the hearing room. It speaks to a fundamental challenge in our digital age, the battle between verifiable evidence and viral narratives. An official transcript is hundreds of pages long, dense, and requires careful reading. A tweet is 280 characters, easily digestible, and can spread to millions in minutes. The strategy employed by the committee, as alleged by Crockett, relies on this asymmetry. It assumes that the dramatic, simplified accusation will travel much farther and faster than the nuanced, factual correction. Think of it like a legal case. The evidence and testimony happen inside the courtroom, but the lawyers for each side hold press conferences on the courthouse steps. Crockett is accusing the chairman of losing the case inside the room and then running to the cameras to declare victory, hoping the public never looks at the actual trial record. This tactic, if successful, erodes public trust not just in the specific investigation, but in the ability of Congress to function as a body capable of objective oversight. So, what are the key takeaways from all of this? First, in highly politicized investigations, the control of the public narrative is often prioritized over the facts gathered in testimony. Second, the most effective way to counter a narrative of alternative facts is not with another opinion, but with primary source documents, forcing a direct comparison between what was said and what the record shows. Third, accusations of double standards and hypocrisy are a powerful tool to question the motives and legitimacy of an investigation, shifting the focus from the accused to the accusers themselves. In an era of deep political division, can objective facts still win out over a powerful, emotionally resonant narrative? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this analysis helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video.